appeal she would be up for. And it was a great way to spend time. We'd come home from a night out, and she'd change her clothes, and we'd jump in my car, and I'd run to mine and change my clothes and get my fishing tackle, and off we go up north fishing for the day. So that was pretty much the history of our romance together. We were just day and night all the time. We just didn't seem to want to be alone anymore or separated. And one day we decided we ought to get married, and well, I needed to go home to New York to sign some papers. And I told Marianne I had to do that. And she said, well, I'll go with you. And when we started out, I thought, well, why don't we get married? So that's what we did. We spent our honeymoon in Pennsylvania, the first night of our married life in Pennsylvania, in a motel where he didn't have any motel rooms left, but he had a room over a garage. And that's where we spent our first night of our marriage. Funny place to... Like always, we were game for anything in those days. Next day we drove to New York in my old 1940 Oldsmobile. And that's the way it was. We stayed in New York for a few years. Linda was born in Brooklyn, and Christine in Nyack. And that was about all your mother could stand of New York. 2 years, a little more than 2 years. And we came back to Wisconsin. And we've been here ever since. Spent 50 great years now. You know, after Linda and Christine, we moved to Appleton, and Carolyn was born, and moved to Rockford, and Stephen and Laurie and Stephen. Stephen being the youngest, were born. And we finally came back home. Been here ever since. How many years is that? It was 1963 we came back here.
What year were you married in?
51.
It took Mom like a good 10 minutes to figure that out.
Well, it is kind of, you know, it's hard to remember all those things. But it has been 50 years. It hardly seems like it. There are days when I feel like I'm still 20. You know.
Can you recount any specific night or evening or experience in New York when you went out maybe dancing or...
Oh yeah, well we'd love to dance, your mother and I, both of us. And after work, after dinner, go down to a local tavern and put money in the jukebox and dance. And some of those taverns, I don't think they were used to having people dance, you know, but we did. And we'd go anywhere. Any place we went, there was a jukebox, we'd put money and dance away, dance the evening away. That was our favorite pastime. We didn't drink very much, but we danced a lot. And of course then, you know, Hank was in New York then, living there, had a big home, and Gertrude, and Emily was out in Hempstead then. So we had people we knew there, and Charlie and Gertie, and we visited them quite a bit. And I went with Charlie a number of times. we things were different there than they are here, of course.
Did you have jobs?
Oh yeah. You have to make a living, especially when you have children. No alternative.
What did you and Mom do?
Oh God, a variety of things. Oh, what the heck I did?
Like, what was the first apartment you lived in?
Apartment?
New York?
Oh yeah, well, that brings to memory that we had a little apartment in, the first one was in Jamaica, I think. And we invited Hank and Lil to have dinner with us at home. And they came up to our apartment, and Marianne, we were going to have a roast chicken, and Marianne had never cooked a chicken before in her life. And we bought a frozen chicken, and she didn't bother to defrost it. She put it in the oven and baked. We had raw chicken for din din. It was kind of funny. I think she was kind of embarrassed, but we all laugh about it now. It was just one of those things. But that was our first. We moved to an apartment in Brooklyn, and that's where Linda was born. Wyckoff Heights, Brooklyn. Wyckoff Heights Hospital. And as usual, your mother, your imperturbable mother, who had just given birth to a 9.5-pound baby, her first baby, and I think it must have been about the first time she was ever in a hospital for anything. When I came up to her room to see her after she delivered, here she was sitting up in bed with her hair all fixed, makeup on her face, looking pretty as a picture. It was really, really quite something. I couldn't believe that she had had a baby. And he was this beautiful big baby with dark mass of hair, and nice and chubby and healthy little rascal. And that was Linda.
Great.
Oh, are we on? I got thinking about things. Well, like I said, Mary was always, when we first started going together, or even later on, she had this spirit that we could do anything and go anywhere and be anything. She wasn't afraid of anything or anybody. She had a spirit that was just indomitable. You couldn't change her in any way. That's the way it is, and that's the way she is today. She hasn't changed a bit in the face of all the good things and the bad things that have happened to us. And not really bad things, but the things that were hard to accept along the way. She's maintained that wonderful spirit. That's the thing that made me love her then, and that's the thing that keeps me loving her now. And I think she'll go on that way. She'll never lose that way of hers. She has a very unique personality, as you children all know. She cared for her babies like no other mother ever did. She's the greatest mother in the world. She'd fight to the death for every one of you, at any time, against any odds, and for me too. She's a great gal, and we're all lucky to have had her, and to have her now. I don't think I'll trade her in for a while. There's no new, better model, or any kind of old, better model either. So that's really the gist of our relationship. Because once I realized what kind of a woman she was, of course I had to have her. And she didn't object too much to our marriage. And we had nothing but fun first couple of years. Just with one great thing after another. And it's been a good marriage, and we have great moments. Every time our children come to us, or we're with them at any time, of course, we're having great one upon the other. Of course, we love our children, so every one of them. There isn't a bad one in the group. If I could have 5 more like the 5 I've got, I'd take them willingly, happily. And that's all you're going to get. I've talked long enough. Prost.
Okay. Sure there's nothing else you want to say directly to Mom?
Mm-mm.
Okay.